虽只是简单一场，却压制住了我用至宝的最强攻击。
很好，你值得。
你让我接了3招，现在该轮到我了。
Hello guys, welcome to the SwallowedStar channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar episode 202. In the previous episode, after Luo Feng was captured by Venerable Purple and thrown into an ancient prison called Ice Hell, an event that turned out to have been orchestrated by his master, Zuoshan Ke, as a training test, instead of giving up, Luo Feng used the pressure inside the ice prison to train for hundreds of years and created a new secret technique called the 10,000 Star Sermon Map, which he then used to fight the prison's rulers, such as King Lightning Racing, with far more dominant power. However, when Luo Feng escaped from King Lightning, a warrior who had reached the level of Invincible King, Yinmo, aka Silver Eye, appeared in the midst of his escape. He was one of the rulers of the northern ice prison region, who now stood before Luo Feng. So, will Luo Feng be able to defeat him? Okay, without further ado, let's get straight to the story. After Luo Feng was forced by Yinmo to hand over the anonymous account censored to him, Luo Feng challenged Yinmo to take the anonymous account he wanted himself. Yinmo did not compromise much and immediately launched his attack. He formed a giant ice footprint that was ready to hit Luo Feng if he did not take immediate action. Luo Feng, curious about how powerful an Invincible King was, used the star diagram and the Beast God's tail defense to block the incoming attack. When the two powers collided, a tremendous explosion of energy occurred, affecting several foreign races watching from a distance. They were thrown back by the effects of the ongoing battle. Luo Feng successfully blocked his opponent's attack, but he realized that Yinmo's divine power was formidable. The foundation of his divine power alone exceeded that of the World Master by tens of millions of times, and now it was amplified by a method that multiplied his power. Although it was just a simple giant palm, Yinmo managed to suppress Luo Feng's strongest attack, which relied on the power of his treasure. After withstanding the attack, Luo Feng sensed something amiss and immediately moved away from his location. Yinmo, who took action again, did not expect Luo Feng to survive his attack unscathed. In his opinion, Luo Feng had every right to be proud because he was quite strong, but that was not enough to be his equal. Before Luo Feng could move any further, his movements suddenly slowed down. Time around him stopped. He was now caught in his opponent's law of time. Once Luo Feng's movement stopped, he became an easy target for Yinmo, who immediately unleashed his Finger of Death technique. It is said that anyone hit by this technique will have their soul eroded until they die, or else become a soul slave. The spectators who saw Luo Feng's difficult situation began to feel sorry for him. However, Luo Feng did not remain idle. He forced himself to move again against the opponent's power. Before the attack actually landed, he managed to break the opponent's time law and tried to defend himself using his Shiwu wings. Because he didn't have much time, Luo Feng had to take some damage because his Shiwu wings hadn't had time to close completely. When he got back up, Luo Feng finally realized how terrifying an Invincible King was. In his current condition, he couldn't put up much of a fight. The audience was quite surprised to see Luo Feng still alive and able to withstand the Finger of Death technique, even though many powerful figures had already been killed by that attack. From here on, the battle became increasingly intriguing. The spectators hoped to witness Yinmo's ultimate technique. When Yinmo used his ultimate technique, the silver eyes on his body opened, signifying that death would soon befall his enemies. Luo Feng himself felt that his enemy was quite cunning. To begin with, Yinmo unleashed a giant palm strike, followed by the Finger of Death technique. All of this was formed from divine power condensed from a distance, making Luo Feng less wary of the floating power of time in the air, so he was affected by his opponent's attack. From a distance, Yinmo deemed Luo Feng worthy of his ultimate technique, Silver Eye Stare. On this third attack, a silver eye opened on Yinmo's chest, and another opened on his face. Luo Feng began to feel pressured as he sensed the gazes of the many eyes that appeared. In an instant, Luo Feng was transported to an illusory world. He tried to destroy the illusion, but the world reformed, showing that he was now truly trapped. Within Yinmo's illusion, time passed very slowly, even though in the real world it was only a blink of an eye. Those who were trapped would see endless reincarnations until the target sank into despair. It took tremendous determination and a very strong heart to survive in that illusory world. Would Luo Feng be able to survive? While in the world of illusion, Luo Feng spent a very long time passing through various eras alone on a plane. An ordinary person might have gone mad, but Luo Feng remained calm because he was experienced in dealing with illusion techniques and, thanks to the union of his soul with the Tower Pearl, his soul power had grown stronger. Yinmo and the audience were shocked to see Luo Feng regain consciousness and regain full control of himself. Yinmo even asked, how long had Luo Feng been going through that endless cycle of reincarnation? Luo Feng, who looked overwhelmed, replied, probably almost 10,000 eras. One era is equivalent to 100 quadrillion years, and Luo Feng had gone through it 10,000 times. Luo Feng was truly extraordinary. He had turned the illusory world into a training ground to sharpen his determination to continue living. This made Yinmo admire him. After receiving 3 techniques from Yinmo, it was Luo Feng's turn to attack. Assisted by King Heavy Arrow, Luo Feng moved. Heavy Arrow blocked the incoming ice attack with a purple bell, then moved to the opponent's back and unleashed a purple bell fist that shook the surrounding area. When the enemy's focus was diverted, Luo Feng unleashed the Bright Moon technique, causing part of Yinmo's body to be shattered into pieces. The combination of attacks did appear powerful, but it was not enough to defeat Yinmo. Therefore, Luo Feng immediately retreated from the battlefield before his opponent could recover. Despite being stared at by the silver eyes of Yinmo's technique, the man did not die. Even the 10 limit Immortal Kings in the ice prison could not do it. The spectators began to think that Luo Feng, the only human in the ice prison, might become the strongest among the 5 figures of the Invincible Immortal King. Just as Yinmo's body returned to its original state, he heard Luo Feng's voice echoing, saying that they could make a mutually beneficial deal.
我看你顺眼，我们可以做一个交易。
The silver eyes of Yinmo's technique stared at the man, but he did not die. Was Sibo Hua from the demon race, one of the 5 invincible immortal kings. He was interested because Luo Feng not only managed to escape from King Lightning Racing, who burned his divine body, but also managed to withstand Yinmo's 3 ultimate attacks in a row. It could be said that Luo Feng might be unbeatable by anyone except the 5 rulers of the Ice Prison Realm. Sibo Hua asked his subordinates, after the battle with Yinmo, where did Luo Feng go? One of his subordinates who had witnessed the battle directly reported that Luo Feng had left with Yinmo. From the traces found, Luo Feng had ultimately gone to Yinmo's residence. Yinmo himself was enjoying himself on his throne at that time. On his wrist was a bracelet connecting him to the virtual universe. It turned out that the deal proposed by Luo Feng was an exchange of treasure for an anonymous account censor. For Luo Feng, this was a highly advantageous opportunity. Meanwhile, Yinmo was seen enjoying his time in the virtual universe, playing online games with his father, Luo Feng, on the same team.
小伙子，不愧是我儿子介绍过来的，做不错。
Upon hearing this, Sibo Hua couldn't believe that Yinmo was willing to trade the virtual universe connection sensor for priceless heirlooms just to play online games. In Sibolwa's opinion, that was a very foolish thing to do. After all, that sensor was the only hope for the inhabitants of the ice prison to connect with the outside world. Since the sensor wasn't rare among humans, Sibolwa was certain that Luo Feng must have more than one. Sibolwa, who came from the Tianlong Skywolf clan and was part of the royal family of the demon race, felt very upset. An important figure like himself was trapped in an ice prison, wasting his life. In order to get out, he first had to connect with the outside world. Sibolwa mobilized all his followers to search for Luo Feng with all their might. Anyone who succeeded in bringing Luo Feng before him would receive his direct protection. Of course, this offer was very tempting. If one received protection from one of the regional leaders, no one would dare to mess with them. The foreign races immediately began their search for Luo Feng. Meanwhile, Luo Feng, who was using a detector, could not be found if he did not reveal himself. At that time, Luo Feng was connected to his master, the Chaos City Lord. He realized that the leaders of the ice prison were not easy opponents. Therefore, Luo Feng intended to study the latest Bright Moon technique and the 10,000 star sermon map diagram at the same time. Only after his strength increased would he face the regional leaders in the ice prison. Hearing his student's intention, the master explained that Bright Moon was a martial arts style, while the 10,000 star sermon map was a spirit reader, mental master style. Studying them simultaneously would divide Luo Feng's focus and hinder his progress. Since Luo Feng was learning the Beast God technique, which emphasized close-range combat, the master advised Luo Feng to focus on studying martial arts alone, so that in the future, he could be on par with the Beast God. The master's words left Luo Feng in a dilemma. His master told him to focus on martial arts, but on the other hand, the 9-volume manual and star tower left behind by Zuo Shangke required Luo Feng to study the master's mental cultivation. Luo Feng thought hard. Whose teaching should he choose? After careful consideration, Luo Feng made a decision. He told his master that he still wanted to study both paths simultaneously. Later, if he couldn't balance both, only then would he choose one. But for now, if he immediately gave up and abandoned one of the teachings, he felt that something would bother him. Since the decision had been made, his master couldn't stop him and only reminded Luo Feng to continue to hold fast to his conscience and the focus he desired.
坚持本心，全心此，我也不再多说，投入。明白。
It was here that Luo Feng began his long training. He developed the Bright Moon technique, a smooth yet deadly sword movement. On other occasions, he did not forget to deepen his understanding of the Beast God and the 10,000 star sermon map. According to his master, these two paths of thought were different and increasingly difficult to develop simultaneously. However, despite spending a long time on them, Luo Feng promised to prove that his choice was not wrong.
代表了两种不同的战斗方向。
Long story short, 2,000 years passed. From beneath the ice field, energy fluctuations emerged along with the flow of the Sword River. The foreign races who saw him were convinced that it must be the man who had disappeared for 2,000 years. Sure enough, it was Luo Feng who finally emerged from hiding after mastering the second technique of Bright Moon and 10,000 star sermon map. His long training had finally paid off. Fresh out of training, Luo Feng was immediately approached by an orange metal creature, like a crab, who told him that he had come with no ill intentions. He had come on behalf of the ruler of the southern ice prison to invite Luo Feng to his residence. Luo Feng accepted the invitation and went to Sibolwa's residence without fear. Upon arriving at the location, as promised, the orange crab carrying Luo Feng received protection from Sibolwa. He was allowed to stay in the vicinity of the palace, and from that moment on, no force would dare to touch him. After the crab left, the matter shifted to Luo Feng. Sibolwa was certain that Luo Feng already knew that every creature trapped in the ice prison longed for contact with the outside world. Luo Feng immediately guessed that Sibolwa must want the virtual universe sensor. The problem was, Subwalwa belonged to the demon race, enemies of the human race, so he couldn't connect legally, unlike Yinmo, who wasn't from one of the three races hostile to the human race. After the crab left, the matter shifted to Luo Feng. Subwalwa was certain that Luo Feng already knew that every creature trapped in the ice prison longed for contact with the outside world. Luo Feng immediately guessed that Subwalwa must want the virtual universe sensor. The problem was, Subwalwa belonged to the demon race, enemies of the human race, so he couldn't connect legally, unlike Yinmo, who wasn't from one of the three races hostile to the human race. Luo Feng asked in return, what did Subwalwa want to do after obtaining the sensor? Subwalwa revealed that he only wanted to contact his partner to help him escape from the ice prison. For the sake of freedom, Subwalwa was willing to exchange valuable treasures for the sensor. Having been isolated in the ice hell prison for an extremely long time, Subwalwa was unaware of information from the outside world, making information extremely valuable. However, Luo Feng refused the treasure offered by Subwalwa. In addition, Luo Feng refused twice and appeared completely unafraid despite being surrounded by the demon race attempting to intimidate him. Then, what will Subwalwa do next to Luo Feng? Okay, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.